Shiny and new, it's the Large Blast podcast. I'm your host, Stoney, and I'm joined as always by Matt.
Insignium Valorous.
And Welshie.
666, the number of the Grey Knights.
That's right, everybody. We're talking about the Grey Knights today, the forgotten boys of the 40k universe. But we like to get things kicked off with a little something we call hobbies goings on, where we take a little look at the hobbies goings on that have been happening in the hosts' lives. So, Welshie, you've usually got some hobbies that have been going on. What has been going on with your hobbies?
I've been smashing the hobbies. I've done all the hobbies, the converting, the painting, the playing. That's right, boys. I played a full game of Warhammer.
No way.
Yeah.
Jesus.
40K.
Army on army, 1500 point, 40k.
Did you play 11? Oh,
You're off the show, Welshie.
Matthew.
We can't have people that play Warhammer on this Warhammer
Well,
podcast.
Stoney, let me redeem myself by telling you I played a game of 3rd edition.
Nice. Okay, back on. Back on.
It was fantastic. We got, there's a website, if you haven't found it, listener, called Pro Hammer. And Pro Hammer has a condensed rule set that you can play any codex from 3rd edition through to 7th edition. Because that's right, for 20 years, the rules basically didn't change. And it's great. I found the Chaos 3rd edition, and I played against my mate Jim, who played the Demon Hunters Codex, one of our favourite codexes of all time.
Yeah.
So I had Fabius Bile going up against the Inquisition, and it was brilliant. Matt's got the Demon Hunters Codex in front of him. It's like he's been researching. It was great, boys. Can I tell you how much more fun that old game is compared to fighting over 2 central objectives? We had orbital bombardments randomly scattering and going off every turn. Fabius Bile generated at random every stat on his stat line at the start of the game. So I had a strength 2, ballistic skill 7, Fabius Bile, like a weedy armed Bile, and it was just, it
How
was
do
so
you plan
good.
for that? That's
No running. No running.
No running, everything
no
moves
retreat.
the same distance.
Yeah.
Which was amazing. Like the thematics of actually, like, something happens when you fail morale. You don't just lose a person. They turn around and they start running to the back of the board, and you can sweep them down. You have to regain morale. Whenever something janky happens, it feels fun. You know, like on 11th edition now, you everything dies and you're not really sure why, because you don't understand your opponent's stratagems. Whereas this was, I happened to roll 3 6s in a row with a chain axe against a tank, and I blew it up. And like, that shouldn't happen, but it was hilarious and it was fun, and it was like everyone was okay
So
with
did
it.
you?
And you should always be rewarded for rolling 3 6s in a row. So
Yes.
You say that, but famously before 8th edition,
Yeah.
there was the chart that, if you didn't have enough strength and they had a really high toughness, you couldn't.
You just couldn't
Literally,
do it. Well, that
even
was
with a
it.
6.
So I could only wound on a 6.
Yeah.
And then on the, do you remember that you get all the thematic rules? So you've hurt a tank, but it doesn't just
Yeah.
lose wounds, because tanks don't have wounds.
glancing
It's like,
hit.
yeah, does it lose a turret? Does it lose one of its
Yeah.
guns? Like, can it move
Yeah.
for the rest of the game?
Yeah.
All of this fun shit.
Pick a gun that you
that's
get
lost
blown
from the
up.
game.
Yeah.
I just happened to get penetrating hit, which is funny, just because it's the word. It was so good, boys. I'm telling you, we've all got 3rd edition armies. We should just play some 3rd edition. And
So I wonder.
here's
Sorry,
the real
carry on.
kicker, Matt, before
Yeah.
your question. Because it's PDF, I uploaded the rule book to ChatGPT, and we had the laptop on the side of the table, and whenever we had a question, we asked it, and it told us.
Mate, that
It was so good.
the
No looking in the index, nothing. No flicking through pages.
That's so fun. My memory of just for so many years, the experience of Warhammer was playing like maybe twice a year, and just playing like 2 turns in like 8 hours, because we're just constantly like, what is the rule for that? How do you do that? So yeah, so you literally just put the rule book in AI,
Yeah.
and you could just.
Yeah,
Shit,
and I was
that
just
is-
literally just saying things like, if it was a weird weapon profile, or there was like a keyword next to the weapon we didn't know, I was just putting the word question mark, and then it just gave me a bullet point, how you deal with cover, and you can
You
converse
see,
with it.
this is a good future Games Workshop product. If they just
Yeah.
made something
The
like
app. This
they
is
get
Yeah.
they combine it with the plushie, so you've got a little nurgling or something that like talks
Excellent
to
idea.
you when you like a Furby,
like a
basically.
Furby, yeah.
Squig. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I was thinking because
Servo
Stoney,
skull.
I've also been
Oh,
working
that'd be a
on
good
that
one for rules.
that screen embedded in some terrain, and you've done a few things with mechanical terrain. I was thinking, crappy old iPad that
Yeah,
can still run the internet. Build
yeah,
it into a piece of terrain, and you can literally be talking to the board like a portal in the
yeah,
middle of the board that feeds
yeah.
back like
It's a
the
good idea.
answers to you vocally. It would be
Yeah, you get
amazing.
it like one of those. Yeah, make it look like a kind of a hologram, like
Yeah,
talking
Yeah.
kind of thing. Yeah,
it
yeah.
Or
would.
like
Yeah, so
a
good.
what do they call it? What's the things with like big posters on? Big poster board or whatever.
Sounds like a poster
Advertising
board,
board.
an advertising
Yeah.
poster
Yeah.
board.
Or you could put the screen inside one of those, like a webway gate or something like
Yeah.
that. It'd
Oh
just
yeah,
be
that's
awesome.
yeah.
But it's what so it's a bit like that guy from Power Rangers that lived in the tube, like
Zordon.
Zordon, exactly. But you'd kind of want it to be like, I mean, this would be really annoying if you were playing a game, but if you've got like a kind of a Zordon style presence on the board, every time you like ask it a question, it should be, well, you must answer these riddles free or something,
Yeah.
and you've got
Yeah,
to
He's
yeah.
saying
end
we
up
should
going on.
we should get Neckbeard McGee to record like all of the sounds so it can talk to us in a full rules version.
I think that's what we need.
There
Yeah.
must be a way that you can like say a couple of sentences in a voice and then the AI just works out
Oh yeah,
how
you
to
can get AI voice generators. I think
yeah.
Stoney's got some for the old editing.
Oh yeah.
I've
Yeah.
dabbled on a few free trials, let's say.
But
Are
yeah,
we
it
even
was
talking to
great.
Stony? I don't know.
Playing third edition is great. And I also painted up an Argyle tile model, which has done really well on the shorts. People seem to really love that model because it's
Oh yeah,
badass.
that
So
looked good.
yeah, if you want to see me in my painting for that, check out.
It's
our
nice to finally
video.
put a face to the name Gargle Towels.
Gargle.
I knew you'd love him just as soon as you saw
it
his
is really
sweet
good.
wings.
I have seen it is a model which I've seen before, but I always thought it was just a kind of one of the possessed models because those are they called the Argon back or something?
The Galvor back.
Galvor
Oh,
back.
yeah,
Those are
that's the
really
name.
cool models. I really like those.
Yeah, they're
and
really
so I
badass.
just thought that maybe he was like a cool ass Galvor back. But
Well, he is essentially. He's the leader of them, so he's like the
Oh, shit.
Galvorback sergeant. Yeah, that's why he looks so
Gargle
much like
Towels. Oh,
Yeah.
it's so cool. I never knew. Well, you should have said.
Don't worry, he'll make an appearance in the future, I'm sure.
Matt, what's been going on in your hobbies lives?
I've finished a few things that I've been working on for a while, and I'm just painting a Black Templar, and actually seeing your short Welsh year, I decided to paint one of the other band members from Stoney's Noise Marines.
Oh, nice,
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, so I've just started that.
Have you gone Flying V or the What was the other one you did?
It's
It's like
the
one of the Gibson.
it's the guy with he's got big boots and like the huge hair coming out the top.
The one with the double neck.
Yeah,
Ah, sweet, double
yeah,
neck guitars.
yeah. I'm enjoying that. That's good. The print quality is really good on it as well.
Available to buy. Just
Damn
contact
straight.
us at Large Blast Podcast.
Yeah.
Email largeblastpodcast@gmail.com to get your today.
So I don't know when that'll get finished, but painting might paint a Bretonian Knight. Kind of getting the urge to paint a Bretonian Knight, and other
what
than
a
that,
surprise. The
Yeah.
urge. It never left you. It never left
Yeah.
you. It's an itch that can never be fully scratched, Matt.
no, because I've got a couple of ideas of like a few more color schemes.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I've got a list. I've got a long list, and there's a couple on there that are kind of jumping out to me. I'm
Were you
feel
inspired by Pride?
to do something.
Is that
just
what
do
it was? You saw
Pardon?
the Pride flags. That's what you're doing next. Pride
Yeah,
flag, Bretonian Knights. You'd be all over that, I'm sure.
Actually, funnily enough, I've never seen, because you see that with all the Space Marines and stuff on the internet, but I've never seen someone do that for a Bretonian Knight. No, it's not going to be a rainbow knight. And that's kind of, I've been painting maybe like a little bit more recently. Finished a few things. But I've also been watching fucking loads of Teletubbies. And
Right. Because you have a child or just by yourself?
well, I used to watch it by myself, but now
Yeah.
now I have an excuse.
Yeah. What season are you on? Because I've got some spoilers. I've been also watching a lot of Teletubbies.
Well, I got quite into the lore. We've got quite into the lore.
Well,
and
what is the deal with the Teletubbies? Are they looked after by the Hoover? Is the Hoover there like
Do you mean
parental
Nunu?
figure.
Nunu.
Nunu.
Yeah,
the Hoover.
is it called Nunu in the because there's the 2003 Teletubbies and
Oh, then
the
there's the new ones
2022
where the Teletubbies have baby Teletubbies to look after
I
as well,
know.
and you're like,
The
what's going on
CGI
with
baby
this
Teletubbies.
You heard it here
parental
first. Matt is
situation?
doing a diorama of the Dark Mechanicum version of the Teletubbies, looked after by Nunu the Hoover Lord.
Well, it kind of got me thinking, like two things. One, a horror film where not people dress up as Teletubbies because they're huge in their costumes, but like actual Teletubbies are chasing you in the middle of the night through a forest would be fucking frightening. And two, they're basically like hobbits that have eaten the wrong mushrooms, and the whole thing is like a trip. It's like a anyway. This is I have a fan theory that it's all based on Tolkien and taking too many mushrooms. So I don't know where I'm going with that, but
listening to me and Matt's new podcast on the channel coming soon, where we break down episodes of the Teletubbies because
Dads,
I'm in.
take mushrooms
I feel
and watch
like,
TV.
It's one of those things like you've just got when you've got something like the Teletubbies on and it's the end of a long day or whatever. You go, you put your little baby to bed and you're like, oh, little baby's gone to bed, and you come downstairs and you sit and you're just like, it's nice just to sit, and you don't realize it, but Teletubbies is still on, and you're just a grown man watching the Teletubbies at that stage, and you don't even realize it.
Pop into the kitchen, rustle yourself up some tubby toast.
Yeah,
exactly.
Some tubby toast. You rewind back to the start of the episode, make sure you didn't miss anything.
I remember when my YouTube used to be full of Warhammer. Now it's just full of Teletubbies.
Can I just say, you boys really are revealing the real reason why it always seems to be me that's done all of the hobby progress, you know?
Well, you didn't say that it was like, if it was about Teletubbies, we'd be fucking on it. That's what I'm saying. It's like, yeah, sure, you've got all the Warhammer knowledge.
There's kind of...
All right.
The yellow one is Lala, and that's like the Imperial Fists. And there's the green one, which is Dipsy. That's
obviously
like the salamanders. Yeah. The purple one, well... Tinky Winky is like
the Emperor's Children, isn't it?
The Emperor's Children, yeah. He's Slaanesh.
Oh god, yeah, of course.
Apparently he was born in Moscow.
I think he's secretly the Night Lord's one, and he's got his bag. His bag is made of the fifth Teletubby that they never speak of.
Yeah. The Emperor destroyed him.
Well, expect the full Teletubby. Is it based on 40k? Episode
Anywho, yeah, this is Teletubby chat over for the time being, I guess. We'll
Stoney, tell us you've been doing some Warhammer.
No, I haven't really. Like, I've been really ill the last couple of weeks, boys. As you know, I've had like an infection in my arm, which has meant that I haven't been able to do anything arm related. And you'd be surprised how much of Warhammer is arm related. So
you're right-handed, aren't you?
I am, yes.
Yeah,
and it's in my right arm, so
yeah. That's a
double blow.
Yeah.
So not being ideal, but I'll tell you what I haven't been doing is fucking caving, because I've been watching a lot. All I've been able to do is watch goddamn videos like Teletubbies and the such, you know, having no arm. And YouTube has gone through a stage of just recommending those videos of dudes stuck in caves.
Oh no, the same thing has been going on with mine.
What's going on with these caving videos? It's gone nuts.
Oh, it's horrendous. That guy that fell, and then they nearly got him out, and then he fell even more in, and he's still down there,
like head first.
Oh
god!
God.
Do you think it's because you feel trapped by your new life of Teletubbies? Is that what it is? It's some kind of claustrophobia.
The more Teletubbies I watch, the more caving videos.
I mean, they kind of live in a cave. Their house is like a cave.
Yeah, exactly. Well, finally, I've been going under the house into the subterranean layers.
That's so weird.
I said I haven't been caving, but no, I haven't been caving. I'm not going caving. I refuse.
It's a bloody good job we're talking about the Grey Knights to purge you both of this madness later in the episode.
You know who you wouldn't catch in a fucking cave? A Grey goddamn Knight. They need room for that armor and shit. Bought it back.
Yeah.
Boys. Saved it. Got it back to 40k. That's what people are listening for, baby.
Finance, cutting into technology. Accurate information is the Large Blast podcast news. Hear every episode.
Old Nightbringer was a classic. New Nightbringer, even better. That's right, the new Nightbringer for Necrons is out, and it's a fucking banger. What do you guys reckon of this?
This was one of the best leaks going. Like, you get those leaks and they're like grainy on the box, and you're like, oh God, what is that? This was like a crisp picture of possibly the best large GW model in fucking ages. It is
Yeah.
a thing of beauty. Everything about it, other than it's a bit not very well attached and hard to transport. But God, the dynamism, the glow up, the extra scarabs, the little bit of like technology stuff on the bottom. I absolutely love it.
The old model was like a real classic, and the artwork from some of the like because the artwork's been around for like 20 years now.
Yeah.
The artwork of this thing floating over the ruined city is incredible, and it's really captured in this new model. Like yeah, like you say, the dynamism, like it really, it's a piece. It's the art has come alive for once in the model. Like it's really good.
It does look like a drawing almost, or like a painting. It's excellent. I like it. Everybody loves it. Everybody likes it. It's really cool. I'm not such a massive fan of the scarabs, is the only thing, but you could always cut them off or whatever. And it is very cool.
Also, the size. I mean, gone are the days. I remember I used to use this Nightbringer. It clearly should have been a lot bigger than it is, with the rules that it punches, sneaking it behind buildings, killing Matt's tank
I
after
remember
tank,
you
rush after rush
I
after rush.
forget what it was.
Down.
Be well hidden.
There won't be any more of that with the new
It was
model,
metal,
that's for
wasn't
sure.
it? Is it a metal model?
Yeah.
Is it then what? I guess then it became fine cast, did it? Or was it ever plastic?
No,
The
it's
old
never
one?
been
Don't know.
plastic.
Don't
know.
No. I've got the metal
Damn.
one, and it just
It must have been
flops
fine
face
cast at
first.
some
Yeah.
point.
Man,
Yeah.
they fucking kept that bad boy in play for a long old time, didn't they? That was really, it's a great model, but it's definitely showing its age.
That's
Whereas
gonna be
this
a
new
theme
one
today.
feels a lot like a real like you say, it feels a lot like the new style encapsulated in a way. It's great. It's a real win for them. Word up, gamers. It's your cool homie Stony here with some gaming news. Dawn of War 4 has just been announced, but you know what? Fuck that right off, because Dawn of War reissue, Soulstorm or whatever it's called, the old Dawn of War reissue has just come out, and that's what you should be playing. Fuck the new Dawn of War. No one gives a shit.
I don't know.
Oh, what,
sounds
Matt?
like Matt might.
oh, God. Oh, sorry. Well, no. You know what? No one gives a shit. They're playing Dawn of War.
Soulstorm.
It looks way better, looks way cooler.
Why do you think it looks better?
Because it's Dawn of War.
Soulstorm.
It's wicked. That was the one that I played for nostalgia reasons.
I mean, I agree with that. But the Dawn of War 4, it's kind of weird that they've done this at the same time, no?
I just can't be asked with new games. I just can't be bollocks. They've got too many buttons.
But the Dawn of War 4, from what I've seen, like you see it in the trailer, there's way more factions. Like you can play AdMech.
It's
There's
just
4.
unreasonable.
There's
that
4 on release.
Every game has different
right.
buttons, and you've got to learn different
What
buttons
were the
for
4?
every new game.
What were the 4?
Just Stoney's like Luddite tree over there with his fat swollen fingers. I can only press one at a time.
I pressed 2 at a time. That's the problem. They've got to be real spaced out.
What are the 4 factions?
So you got Blood Ravens, which I saw
classic.
someone do a review of this and get absolutely decimated in the comment for calling these guys Blood Angels. People were kicking off.
What a noob.
I know. Blood Ravens, AdMech, Necron, Orcs.
Oh wow!
And then
AdMech
I
straight out the
imagine
box.
all of them through DLCs. The graphics look really nice on it. I know you love Dawn of War,
Soulstorm.
Stoney. I think a lot of people had some problems with Dawn of War
Soulstorm.
being quite a different mechanic to 1. This is much more like 1 in terms of mechanics,
we didn't
but
know
2
the
in
buttons
terms of
of
thing.
the old
No,
one.
no. I think
Learn
that's,
the old ways, the
I don't know,
proper
I mean,
ways.
I might be wrong, but from what I remember, Dawn of War 1 and 2 are basically the same, and then there's the expansion packs. Stoney, you mentioned
That's right.
Soulstorm,
All
and there's a
included
couple of
in the
others.
remaster, I would add. So how many
Yeah.
factions do you get in that? Fucking,
You probably get 10. I
you
don't
get
know.
loads. You get
But
like
the
loads.
Dawn of War 3 was the outlier.
That's the
like,
one
I've
everyone
never-
thought was shit, wasn't it?
Yeah, I've never played
it,
that,
though.
but
No.
yeah, that was. I did see the trailer for this Dawn of War 4 and thought, oh yeah, I could see myself getting this, but I don't.
It's another one of
The
those
thing
games
for
where
me-
you've got to spend how much time into. Unless
Yeah, I know exactly.
unless my daughter goes from liking Teletubbies to Dawn of War 4, there's not that much chance I'm going to have enough time to plow into Dawn of War 4.
Yeah,
I've never played any of them, but they look like Age of Empires on
they are
steroids.
like Age of,
But
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I just don't get it. I'd rather. It's the same with that tabletop one. Like, I'd rather just go and play Warhammer. Like,
No,
I'd rather play
No,
Space
no.
Marine 2 on the PlayStation on a computer because
but you
that's
just
like completely
It's a
different.
different. It is
you
a
just
different
summed it up
experience,
because
though.
Age of Empires, like it is like Age of Empires, but in Warhammer, it's great. It
But I
Yeah,
isn't.
have Warhammer. I've spent like hundreds of hours painting it.
but
I don't have little Age of
but
Empires
it's
men.
it's like it's bombastic and there's explosions and stuff happening and the guy
And
there's
great
voice
quotes.
acting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
and
voice
like
acting.
people going, "Oh, yes, all right, I'll go over here and mine this or whatever," and you're like, "Whoa,
Yeah.
I done that."
Tread
Like fuck,
softly and
like
carry a big
fucking,
gun.
like fucking Napoleon.
Yeah.
Well, Blood Ravens might come up again in the Grey Knight section, so keep your ears out, fans of Dawn of War.
Rolling in my 6-4.
So, Grey Knights, the Emperor's shiniest boys, his true sons, the tinfoil warriors. Where did they come from? What's going on with these guys? I remember back when the Grey Knights came out, and like, now people, you hear people complaining sometimes about how like, oh, the models are too complicated and all of this kind of stuff.
Too complicated.
Well, they're kind of
Like too much
people,
stuff on them, you mean?
yeah,
Like,
and people kind of prefer some of the simpler models. Like we were talking to that guy at the Iron Skull thing that was like, oh yeah, there was like a golden age of like lead models, and those are like the best models or whatever. But I remember when the Grey Knights came out, them being kind of the poster boy for that. Everyone was like, what is this lore? They're just like the best at everything. They're like big shiny guys. Their models are like were super ambitious. I remember there being almost kind of like a real kickback to them at the time they came out, and now they're almost kind of lost in the warp.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
they've been fully subsumed, and I'd be interested to see what you think after we've chatted about them, Stody. Whether you think like they've managed to envelope them in like adding in the lore, especially like linking all the way back to the heresy of how they came about, because they're like a mainstay now, and they're definitely a fan favorite faction. Which is wild that they haven't got some love, as we'll talk about when we talk about the model range. But I can definitely see that. I remember buying them. I went from plastic orcs with a big chopper when these guys were first released and that Demon Hunters Codex came out to metal paladins with huge weighty sticks and their
Yeah.
arms just fell off. And I remember it's the first time I used Araldite. I went to my stepdad and I said, "Look, this I can't get them to stick together." And he said, "What are you using?" And I said, "Well, I'm just huffing the super glue at the moment." He said, "No, no, no. Let me take you to get some 2-part epoxy resin. That's what you really want to be mixing in your bedroom."
Hell yeah.
And I huffed a bit of that and they came alive, I can tell you.
Hell
Yeah.
But anyway, do you want to know where they started in the lore, boys?
Yeah.
Where did these shiny boys come from?
So what they've done is really link these back right into the end of the Siege of Terror. So in terms of the Horus Heresy timeline, and they quite cannily have linked them to a lot of fan favorite heroes within the entirety of the Horus Heresy. So the play is that the Emperor realizes there's a chance he might be confined to a chair at the end of all of this, and as a result, he won't be able to help people battle demons in real space. He'll do his best in the warp, but in real space, there needs to be something that is specifically designed, other than the Custodes, to destroy demons and warp entities. So he tasks old Malkador with, I need you to make something, some special kind of army / unit that if I'm unable to fight in real space, is trained to deal with demons. And that's the kind of core kernel concept. And Malkador decides that the best way to do that is to gather his buddies that he's kind of been gathering throughout the heresy to his side, called the Knights Errant. So the Knights Errant are made up with a few colourful characters, some of which you'll know, some you'll have heard of, some you might not know. So by the kind of end of the siege, the Knights Errants include Nathaniel Garrow, Straight Arrow Garrow, hero of the Byzantine.
Fucking legend. I think he might be one of my favorite characters in 40k.
Yeah, I mean he's like, I think everybody loves the loyalist traitor legionaries.
Yeah.
Because they're so good to get behind. I know my partner's reading the Heresy at the moment, and she loves them. Saul Tarvitz, that's her number one. Like, she loves the guys that stand up for the Imperium in the face of the Heresy. And Garrow
Against their brothers and kin.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
And Garrow is probably the biggest and most well known of that. So he escapes on the Eisenstein, and a few of the other Knights Errant, they're not all Space Marines. So there's a few other escapees on the Eisenstein that fall into kind of Malcador's inner circle that come with Garrow. So you've got Amandera Kendall, who is the Sister of Silence that picks them up when they get into the Sol system. You've got Lemuel Gaumon, who's a Remembrancer. He's a Remembrancer that's sent to the Thousand Suns, so he's got loads of kind of weird internal knowledge of psychic shit. And Kirill Sinderman, who is like Iterator Remembrancer. He starts in the first book, he gets all the way through to the end. Like Old Man Balls, I think we've called him before. Spoiler, he goes on to last another 1,500 years through magicry. So those are the kind of the initial 4 buddies that Malcador gathers. And then he goes on to expand those Knights Errant to include Tylos Rubio, who is an ultramarine librarian, Mesa Varan, who's a loyalist world eater, which is a really interesting character because they're like the Legion you probably expect to be least likely to stay loyalist.
Has he got the butcher's nails?
No, so he's a Terran born that doesn't
original.
get given the butcher's nails.
Right.
And apparently he looks like Gerard Butler. All of the art of him, it was specifically requested from the writers that they made him look like Gerard Butler for some reason.
Okay.
So if you ever see a picture
Well, there you
of
go. Heads
Mesa
up,
Varan,
Amazon.
yeah, exactly. Cast him, please. And then a really interesting one called Reviel Arvida. And he is a Thousand Son that was sent away before the burning of Prospero on like secret missions by Magnus. There's a few Thousand Sons guys that are sent out.
Right.
And he comes back to Prospero to find it's a wasteland and is kind of wandering the wasteland at the point the Khan arrives to see what's going on. Someone tells the Khan everything's got fucked up and he doesn't believe them. So he goes to visit Magnus and he lands on Prospero, finds that there's nothing left other than like psychic entities. And this guy, Reviel Arvida, becomes like the Khan's mate, basically, the Khan's kind of psychic advisor, and travels with them. And there's this really mental bit where to defend the Webway Gate in the throne, underneath the throne room in the Imperial dungeon, the Emperor always wanted Magnus to defend that gate, but obviously that all falls through. But when Magnus gets destroyed, his shards of his like being are sent all over the galaxy. And long story short, Malcador's plan to protect that gate is to infuse and bind one of the shards of Magnus to this guy, Reviel Arvida. And it doesn't go so well. He blows up into this big like flaming entity. And Malcador's like, I'm going to kill him. This is getting out of hand. And the Khan's like, no, I trust him. Like, he's my mate. And then it all kind of condenses and he manages to absorb it. So like one of these guys that sets up this, Reviel Arvida, is essentially a Psyker Thousand Son that's kind of semi-fused with a shard of Magnus. And like how the extent of which Magnus remains in him is kind of unknown. But when he comes back round, he says, you've got to refer to me as Janus, you know, like the 2-headed Roman god that sees like the past and the future. And he becomes the founding and first Grand Master of the Grey Knights later on. So that's a really cool character, I think, to be like, what's going on there?
Okay.
So we can talk more about him in a second. And then the last 2 that are known is a guy called Nemian, who's a Dark Angel, very secretive. No one really knows much about him other than he was a leader of Black Shields, who are Space Marines that don't either fallen out of love with their legions or didn't know what legion they belonged to start with. So he kind of runs a pirate band of misfits.
Orphans. Space Marines.
And his like, all of these guys are kind of set up to have a like, well, who could they really be? So this guy's face is so burnt up. He's described as like a single mass of like scarred flesh instead of a face. So no one really knows who this guy is. He wears like
Oh my god.
like super
It's
dark
Yarrick.
angels. It could be Yarrick gone back into the past. And then the final guy, again, another traitor loyalist guy called Fel Zarost, who is a Terran-born Knight Lord librarian who basically gets into a massive fight with Sevatar because he's like, the Edict of Nicaea's happened. I don't know what to do. What do you want me to do with the librarians in the Night Lords? And Sevator's like, honestly couldn't give a fuck. Like, I'm going to do some raiding. See you later. And he gets really angry that Kurz and Sevator don't care about the librarians. So he, like, slaps them down and he ends up back on Earth. And interestingly, very rarely do we find out exactly where people from. He's an Englishman. He
No.
returns to his home on the
Albia.
dungeons of Albia. Yeah.
Sweet.
So yeah, you've got an English Night Lord.
Comes home and has some good
Librarian.
old beans and chips.
Exactly.
Does that mean that our future offspring times 10,000 generations is in the Grey Knights?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Wow.
I think we can definitely link ourselves.
Yeah.
Like, who do you think you are?
Yeah,
We
in,
are
in
definitely
fast forward.
yeah, related. So that gives you, there's a few people there that are in Malkador's inner circle. There's only 6 Space Marines there, and Malkador realizes that the humans are going to be useless as warriors. So the humans that are his mates that I mentioned there go off to form the Inquisition. So they are the starter people of the Inquisition, and the Space Marines. 6 of them I just mentioned, and then another 2 who I can't find anything else about. He sends 8 Space Marines off to Titan, and Titan has been hidden using Malkador's warp magic from getting broken in the Horus Heresy. It's not really involved in the heresy, almost like everyone's forgot it exists. And then when the siege happens, or just at the end of the siege, the whole of Titan Malkador sends into the warp. So the whole of Titan has Geller fields. They're called macro Geller fields, and the whole planet moves into the warp at the end of the siege, and then pops out of the warp again in the second founding. So thousands of years later, 2,000 years later, when all of the chapters are generated, and time has passed way more slowly for them on Titan. So they've gone from 8 Space Marines to a legion of the full chapter of 1,000.
I
And
hope
they come back.
Sorry, carry on.
I was just saying, and then they come back, and it's the second founding, so loads of the chapters that we now know and love in 40k.
Black Templars.
They haven't even got to 400 chapters, but they decide that they'll be the 666 chapter, which is where the 666 chapter comes from, and why they have 666 on them. So that is the backstory of the Grey Knights, really.
I hope they do, because they're writing the Scouring now, aren't they?
Yeah, so we're going to get all of this. Should be really interesting.
I hope they do. I hope they do, like, obviously the backstory, but I hope they also, in other books that aren't centered on the Grey Knights, have sort of people in the background being like, "Where the fuck has Titan gone?"
Yeah, just the odd person, like
the moon. Like, where did that moon go? Where's it gone?
Sure, there used to be something here.
Because I was trying, because we've spoken about the Grey Knights before, but we haven't done an episode on them.
No, I think we talked about them a bit where we talked about Psychers, didn't we?
Yeah, it must be. Probably. Because it must have been in my memory. It's like, it's because it is a moon on Saturn. It's sort of linked with the Saturn shipyards, because there's huge shipyards in and around Saturn. Yeah. So there's there is infrastructure there before, and there's always been something secret about Titan. There's a reason why they end up, or Malkador ends up sort of protecting Titan.
He's building, the whole time he's protecting it, they're building this fortress monastery. So he's been way ahead of the game with this. So the Emperor must have set this in motion,
like his top secret project?
Early. Yeah, he's been going with this for ages.
Well, that's a really crazy thing that I was sort of surprised about when I was doing the research for this, is that like they're kind of like a secret police, aren't they? The Grey Knights. They're like a lot of people don't even know they exist, and when there is any stories that they have to be included in some kind of tales or whatever, they're usually kind of depicted as like silver angels or something, as in like stories that are like made for public consumption. And apparently
they do
there's
the Men
loads
in
of
Black thing where they like.
That's right. They've got proper Men in Black style technologies where they can mind wipe people, or
it's
people just show up dead. The classic assassination thing as well.
That's the thing that I always remember, like when that Demon Hunter Codex, the Codex came out in like 2003. I remember that, and I remember in a few codexes after that, there'd always be the thing about the mind wiping. And I don't know about the newer The last Grey Knight Codex I think I had was maybe ninth edition. But from what research I was doing, it seemed like recently in some of the newer lore in the 41st millennium, there's less and less mention of the mind wiping because they seem to be operating more with chapters and just and Imperial Guard and just operating wherever they need to. Obviously, that's increasing, but they're not necessarily as they don't.
Oh, right. They're not
Games
a
Workshop
secret.
doesn't seem to be writing that in as much.
Are they not technically a part of the Inquisition?
No.
Yeah, so
sort of
they
like-
are the Ordo. They're the what do they call them? They call it
Mallows.
the chamber
Ordo.
militant of the
That's it,
Ordo
yeah.
Malleus.
Yeah.
But they
So
don't.
the
They're not.
Death
So-
Watch.
so
the
they're
Death
kind of-
Watch are the Ordo Zenus
They're
space
not-
marines.
but they're
These
They
kind
are
are
the
of
their
Ordo
own
like-
chapter,
Malleus.
though.
This is
Right.
the army of the Inquisition.
Yeah.
And then like Death Watch get invented, and then
Mm-hmm.
they need to kind of retcon that actually the Inquisition's gonna be split. So they go
Mm.
back in the history. Like at some point, the Inquisition becomes Malleus and Xenos.
Well-
And splits separately, and then there's okay, so the Xenos can have the Death Watch, who are space
Yeah.
marines that are good at using
But they're-
alien tech.
But they're definitely a kind of a tool of the Emperor first.
Well,
aren't they?
that's what
Because
that's
sorry,
what I was
go on.
about to say. That I was about to say is that maybe this is a good point to say why and how. Having done the backstory, why and how they're different. That
Yeah.
chapter 666 is different to the other 999 chapters because they have different genealogy, don't they? Gene seed.
Well, that's
Well,
right.
yeah, they've got the best gene seed, you
They
might
are.
say.
Well, this is
Yeah.
kind of like what I was saying at the beginning. They are the ultimate, like, if you're on the playground and you're like, my dad could beat up your dad, and there's one kid who's like, well, my dad's actually some SAS commando or whatever, and just like that's basically what the Grey Knights are, because they are like literally the gene seed is the Emperor, right? That's where they
Yeah.
get their.
Or
their-
so it seems. So it's said to
essentially
be.
kind of their primer. But this is also confusing as well. It's like because like the Emperor goes to Malcador, it's like let's make these wicked soldiers, because none of them have been corrupted by chaos as well. They're all
Ever.
shit hot psychers. I was reading a thing about them earlier where it was like one of them, they were in the warp with a bunch of other guys and they had some psychers on there, and like the best psyker of the Ultramarines or whoever they were with was the same as the shittest psyker on the Grey Knights, and they're all psychers. So it's like they're wicked at psychers. They scare the shit out of demons. They like run away from them like kind of like soap and water. They're just like, why didn't the Emperor put some of this in his original Primarch project? I don't know what was going on.
Yeah, it's a good point, but I guess they have to be like, so what are you guys specialists at? And they'd be like, I'm not telling you, because no
Yeah.
one knew what demons were. It'd be like,
Yeah.
I think that's yeah.
You
I think
might
that is
see
it
one
a bit. Yeah, yeah.
and Nikea would have been difficult for them, wouldn't it? Because
Yeah.
they would have like
that's
all
true.
been banned.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That would
so
have been a difficult meeting. They were like, yeah, like pulling their collars, like, guys, maybe we should get the fuck out of here, eh?
and they're different to what are the Golden Boys called?
Custodies.
Custodies.
They're
Yeah.
different to Custodes because Custodes don't have anyone's
grown.
gene seed. They're grown, yeah.
Well, yeah. No one really knows exactly, I don't think, with that. But they are. I do think they're a bit similar. Like, I
Yeah.
don't see why the Emperor was like, I need to build 1,000 psychic Grey Knights when I've got 10,000
Is it-
uncorruptible Custodes.
But is it not because the Custodes are meant to be on Earth?
I guess so.
So the-
yeah,
But
He
why
needs
isn't he
basically
using
right.
rolling out this non-corruptible shit over his entire range? Why has he got just doing it on this?
Because
Like,
these, like you said, they're the elite of the elite. There has to be a
it
point
doesn't
where you
have
can't
to
make
be. It's
everything
just,
elite.
isn't it just his jizz mixed into some different fucking chemicals or whatever and grown in the
You say
vat?
you say that, but and I think we also spoke about Titan when we've spoken about the Mechanicum, because Titan so after they reappear in what, like M32, and then for 8,000 years up until when the current setting is, it's the lore on the moon Titan is that it is essentially a mini Forge world. So they build everything there. They have all of the super weaponry. There's a couple of links with other worlds and planets, but Titan is like is the fortress monastery and supporting Forge world, where they build this like whatever so the rhino they have is a better rhino than the rhino in another chapter. Like
It's
everything
like
they have
Q.
is
Stoney's
better.
right. Like secret police, it's like you can imagine there's some kind of mechanicum guy that's like Q, and he goes down
Yeah.
and like Castellan Crowe goes down and he's like, oh god, I've got this spear, but can I have a super
You wanna blow
psychic
up
spear?
one?
And he's like, oh okay, yeah, press this button and something fires out the back of it too.
Yeah.
It's like, what about this storm? Like, oh, you've got bolters. What about this? Everyone's got a storm bolter built into their arm. All right, that's just standard.
Yeah. I can't remember what my point was, but yeah, they're very unique in the fact that they have their own supply chain, which none of the other chapters do really.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Yeah,
Well,
they're
I was
just
also
better.
just thinking,
They're just better than everything. Like if you're just, they just do it all themselves.
well, in their armor as well, you can imagine the conversation of going, right, I've made you some super top secret armor. It's better than everyone else's armor. We call it super top secret Aegis armor. And then them being like, yeah, that's great. Why have you written the word Aegis carved on every armor panel? Like, why have you done that? I thought it was super top secret.
Brand name. The letters are all, aren't they? I seem to remember they're the names of demons or the names of all the people that have worn the armor before them.
Yeah, there's
engraved
some
in their shoulder
historical thing
panels.
about
Something
engraved,
like that.
isn't it?
Yeah,
And
As
they-
I know
big
because
into
the
demon
names.
I think
names
they,
are so important, as Stoney's esoteric episodes will tell you.
yeah.
But the Grey Knights, when they're made, they switch to a number through the whole training procedure, and then they get given a fresh name at the end, so that no one ever uses their true name, and that they
Isn't that
forget
in the
their own
book?
true name.
On their chest piece.
Yeah, they've got this really. They've basically got a kind of a most wanted list where they've got a book full of like all the it's like the 101 worst criminals like around or something like that, and it's just the names of the
A
most.
deck of cards, Imperium's most wanted.
It's like Operation Desert Storm, but in the war basically. So they've just got this book, and it's just like if you. Yeah, like you say, kill this guy and you get 10 points. Kill this guy, you get 50 points.
Yeah, because they've got the true names of the demons, haven't they? That's what's in their books.
But the demons are like legit scared of them. Like, there's this thing where they like go into the warp, and again talking about them being with like other psychers in the warp, and the other psychers, it's like this huge mental strain on them. Whereas like for the Grey Knights, they're just like just chilling in the warp, not even worried about it. And all the demons are like, oh no, it's the Grey Knights that we must flee or whatever. Whereas for everybody else, it's like a real. Again, they're just fucking better. But it's like this weird fit. When you've got lore like that, it does get really weird to have an army on the battlefield that still has to take armor saves and do all of this kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean? And and you get taken out, like you say, a squad of Gretchen come in, roll 3 6s in a row or whatever, kill an entire squad of them or something.
Well, this kind of what I was going to say. Maybe it was my point about the equipment being so specialist. Is that there is a point where there's so few. They are very elite, but there's so few of them that if they are exceptional on the battlefield, but they're exceptional against demons. They're not exceptional against waves and waves and waves of zombies or like Tyranids. You wouldn't put them in a
but why
field
not?
of
They've
Tyranids.
just got everything better than a normal.
They'd still be overwhelmed.
Tyranids would bring the shadow of the warp, so they'd be fucking useless. That's why I love fighting Grey Knights. But I think rules-wise, it's definitely difficult to balance. I remember playing Matt sometimes and being like, dude, you only got like 25 models. I've got like 250. I've bought 3 suitcases and you've got like 4 squads.
And
but they move around lots. I remember you used to teleport
powers.
and all of this stuff.
So their entire strength would be
the
void.
psychic phase. Yeah.
God. We've said psychic a lot. So in terms of recruitment, they're a bit different to other Space Marine legions. They don't have a home planet. They recruit fresh from the black ships. So maybe it's like a blessing if you've been transported on a black ship to be eaten by the Emperor when you get to Terra. Someone comes and is like, actually, you seem super powerful. Come with me over to Titan. You'd be like, no being strapped to the wall for me. And then you get there and they're like, right, round 1, 666 horrific demon encounters to check that you're not going to get corrupted. They make you watch horror films for like.
Can we start with some push-ups or something?
Yeah, I can do 10 push-ups. It's still a bit of like a red and blue pill, isn't it? Like you you go in one direction and you get consumed by the Emperor.
Yeah.
Go in the other and you could become
Get consumed
like a
by everything else in the universe.
They're called the
Get
rites
consumed
of
by-
detestation. I've got written
Yeah.
down here. Just like hideous rituals.
So
but
do they not recruit from planets at all?
No.
Yeah.
Well, they might do
I
some,
thought
but
that because I
most of
thought
them
that
are
they
from
were
the black
just kind
ships.
of like
they'll get
because the candidates are so specialized. It's a bit
Kill-
kind of like a sports recruiter where they've got eyes everywhere, and if they see somebody who just looks pretty
But
special,
they'll
they're like,
get
black
picked up
ships
on the
are-
black ships.
Yeah,
Obviously-
the black ships
okay.
are coming from different planets. So the
Oh,
black
okay,
ships,
right,
the
okay.
Sisters of Silence are hunting down psychers to feed back to
see.
Terra.
okay.
And then they're picking from that
I see.
pre-selection.
Cool, you've got a captive audience, so to speak.
Basically, yeah. And then when they come in, they're organized differently as well. So their kind of command structure is a bit different. They've got the Supreme Grandmaster, which I think Matt will talk about the current one in a minute. And then underneath him, we've got 8 Grandmasters. And then Brother Captains. So Brother Captain Stern is something I always
want to
remember.
talk about him. Yeah.
He's a cool dude. We'll come back to. And then each Brother Captain's in charge of 100 warriors. And then you also have Justicars instead of sergeants.
Yeah, because there's only 7. There's like 7
small squads, aren't
chapters,
they?
7 companies. Yeah.
Hmm.
And they're small. Could you field 10 Grey Knights back in the day, or were you only allowed 5 in a squad?
But I think it might have been 5. Have a look.
They were sort of prohibitively expensive, though, weren't they? So
Yeah.
it's probably kind of like
Points-wise.
Well, that
yeah.
was the when they. I mean, it's not the first time they appear, but when they appear in the Demon Hunters Codex,
Yeah.
in a codex, they're in a codex that is mostly Inquisitor stuff.
Yeah, you're supposed to use like normal
supposed to use
stuff
a
and then a
few.
couple of squads and a
Yeah.
rhino, basically.
Yeah,
And they
Terminators
also
would
have-
have been.
But-
I don't know
because they
Terminators
all
2 to 9.
they had this
Oh,
thing,
cool.
didn't they? Where because they only had what you say these chapters or whatever. Because each chapter kind of they all sort of specialize in something different, don't they? Like some of them are good at teleporting, some of them are like Terminator guys.
I don't think that's the same in Grey Knights.
Is it not? I thought that was the same.
Well,
in Grey
some of
Knights.
them are, because like there's the one that is like the
Oh, the
they call the
flamers.
purifiers, the ones
Yeah,
that
yeah.
set themselves on fire.
yeah.
They're a bit
Yeah, maybe it is the
specialised,
same
I
as.
think.
Yeah.
But they also have these weird roles, which I didn't realize until today. They got something called the ferryman, which is a role that's essentially like a funeral director, the Grey Knights funeral directors, and they're in charge of like inscribing the tombs, and they carve like the sigil of Malcador onto them before they put them in the tomb, because there's some ghosty shit that we might come back to, I think, in a minute.
Ah,
And then also they've got things called prognosticars,
prognosticars. Yeah.
who are people that like predict where demons are going to spawn.
Before we talk about them, just going back to the funeral thing,
Yeah.
which that doesn't spark a memory in my mind. But when you said it, the thing that my mind did go to, and I don't know if this is right, in my memory, there's something about them never leaving a body behind.
Yeah.
Like the Grey Knights will. I mean, I guess all Space Marines try and do that, don't they? But they have to recover the fallen Grey Knights.
Yeah. So I think when we get conspiratorial in a minute, there might be some spiritual reasons for that. But then I guess also you don't want Fabius Bile getting his hands on the
Yeah.
Emperor's gene seed.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
the other gene
And-
seed's all a bit corrupted anyway, but this is the good shit.
yeah.
Top shelf.
But and the prognosticars are like they look into the tea leaves on Titan
Yeah.
and predict where warp gates are going to open, so the Grey Knights can be one step ahead.
Yeah, psychic powers used to be so much fun. I know the psychic phase could be a
Vortex of
chore,
Doom.
but like things like the Vortex of Doom just floating around and taking
Yeah.
off 200-point models, like
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was so cool.
and they had I don't know if they have them still, or maybe they have something of the same name, but the psych out grenades. So they've got like, as
Oh,
well as
yeah.
like normal grenades, they've got psychic grenades that they
Yeah.
can throw and
Because
turn
they
off
just had
psychic
everything
powers.
better. Everything was fucking,
Everything
even
better.
their grenades. They had a better grenade. The
And they
whole
always
fucking
put
thing.
the thing that always got me was that they had the psi cannon, which was spelt like psychology, but then they had a thing called a silencer, which randomly was spelt PSIL, which makes
Oh, yes.
no sense. Like, but
It's
it was
like,
called the
it's like when Mortal
silencer.
Kombat spells everything with a K. You know,
Yeah.
it's brilliant.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I love that.
We should touch on the weaponry.
So yeah, they've got cool ranged weapons with silly names like the Psy Cannon and the Silencer, which basically always just seem to work like Plasma and Melter, but like better because they're the same but better. But the real cool stuff was all of the Force
the
weaponry,
Nemesis
right?
force weapons.
So it's like power weapons, but better because it's not just electricity; it's like psychic electricity.
Yeah.
And they're purple and not blue.
I just I remember we all have fond memories of when the Demon Hunters Codex came out and when the full metal range came out. And just those Nemesis Force weapons were just so cool. The Nemesis Force Hellbirds
Yeah,
on the Terminators were just so cool. Like I could never understand why you'd want to put your sergeant with a sword.
yeah.
Like the
And they had the big hammers as well.
yeah, the Force hammers.
Force hammers,
Yeah.
which is like, and I remember in the early days, again, all this granularity's gone in competitive 40k, but I think to use the Force profile, you had to do a psychic test. So anytime you
Yeah.
wanted to use Force, you had to risk perils of the warp. You had to
I kinda
actually charge
remember
him up
that.
and stuff, which was
Yeah.
cool. They weren't just
I think that
better.
was the thing.
But I don't
Yeah.
think they ever
something.
perilled either, did they? Was that
Oh,
not a
maybe they
thing?
had something to
You
stop them.
could
Maybe
you
did
had
they
like a
only peril on
reroll of
sixes and not ones or something like
there was
that?
some way to make it less
Either
of
way,
a
they were
thing.
fun. And they
Yeah.
could do lots of teleporting and stuff.
Yeah,
And
the
their
teleporting
armor
of
and their Vox is all psychic based, isn't it? So their Vox is like, we've got Vox, but it's faster than radio waves because
Yeah.
we're psychic linked and it's
Yeah.
But
better.
it's better.
But the reason they're grey is that they're unpainted, really. Because that goes right back to the Knights Errant, where all of Malcador's mates, they strip their armor of the colour. So it's actually the ceramite shining through. Which is why when people paint them like super chrome, I never like it, because
It's wrong.
triggers me. Just triggers me.
Mm.
Because there's only one thing that's not better, and that's the colour scheme.
Yeah, well, I had a look at the current chapter, which, as you can imagine, has been getting more call outs than maybe they used to have, and the people reading the tea leaves in the tower on Titan have a distinct lack of sleep, and during this time, the current setting of 40k, the supreme Grand Master of the Grey Knights is a man called Drago. What's this? Calgador Drago. I haven't actually written his first name down.
Caldor Drago.
Oh, is he the
Calgador.
current Grand Master?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Ah.
he is the current Grand Master. So he has a model. The new codex has just come out. Apparently, he's might not be in it.
The new codex for Grey Knights has come out. Is that true?
That's
it
why
come
we're
out, or
doing the
it's been-
episode, mate. We're on
Is it?
topic for once.
Oh,
Yeah,
gosh.
yeah.
All right.
Apparently, he's not in it. I didn't actually check that.
No, Calder Drago is not in the new Codex Grey Knights. He has been removed from the Codex and is presumed to have gone to the Legends section of the game rules.
Maybe he's gone the way of Yarrick, or maybe they're rewriting it, or there may be a reason why he's not in it. But he's quite an interesting character. There's no real backstory to his life prior to being turned into a space marine and passing all the tests. But he enters history on Titan as a simple battle brother of the Third Brotherhood. He banishes a demon prince called Makar, the reborn, on a world called Akrelum. And as he kills this guy, just as a simple battle brother, but don't forget, even simple battle brothers have a Nemesis Force halberd. The demon prince puts a hex on him. He sort of curses him as he's destroyed and goes back into the warp. And once he does that, he gets promoted to a Justicar, which is basically a sergeant. So it's the rank of sergeant. So he's in charge of a squad. And he is basically a Justicar for 200 years. But in 901 M41, during the Battle of Kornovin, Drago actually fights a demon prince, Mortarion, the Primarch, because the Grand Master at the time is actually killed by Mortarion. So Mortarion kills the chapter master, and someone stands into the breach, and it is our man Drago, who
Nice.
fights Mortarion, and manages to weaken him, and he pulls himself closer into Mortarion's face and whispers the true name of Mortarion, the name that the Emperor was going to give him. And Mortarion freaks out and is banished to the warp.
Sweet.
Wow.
And the name,
Top lad. How
the
did he know?
name, well, I know the name. The name is
Pinky Winky.
before the body of Mortarion disappears into the warp, he cuts the heart out of Mortarion, or he psychically makes the heart break out of Mortarion's
Kalima!
chest and armor. Yeah. And he engraves in the name of the predecessor. So the Grandmaster that he's just killed, he engraves that name into the heart of Mortarion, and then Mortarion's body is consumed returns back into the warp. And at that point, he gets promoted to Grandmaster.
too right.
Not surprised. That's pretty fucking badass.
Yeah.
But also,
Yeah.
like, pretty skillful, like, in the midst of battle, to pull someone's heart out, engrave it. I assume, like, whilst this guy's also disappearing into the warp, so I imagine he puts on, like, his magnification goggles, he's got a little bench he sits down at, sharpens his tools, engraves the heart. He's like,
like they do when the football team is
exactly
about
like
to win the cup.
when the football team's about to win the cup. And then he's like, all the while, like, Mortarion's like, oh my god, I'm halfway into being sucked back into the warp. Oh.
I'm thinking the opposite. I'm thinking the heart's massive, and all he's got is his force halberd. So he's having to get his mate to stand about 4 foot away with the heart.
Yeah.
He's like
trying to carve
whittling
it
the
with
bastard.
this.
Yeah. I guess they didn't say what kind of job he did, but still, fucking badass.
Fair play.
Yeah, so I guess it was a good job.
And then
but
Mortarion fell in love
Yeah.
with the guy, right? That's what happened.
Yeah. So there's a model of Drago. It's been out for a while. He is a Terminator. He wears Terminator armor. He is armed with a storm bolter and all the normal stuff, a loincloth, and psych-out grenades, as we've mentioned. A better loincloth, a magic loincloth.
Magic loincloth.
He's got so much writing and things on him. This is the epitome of stuff on a model.
But he carries the Titan sword, which is a relic, and quite an interesting relic actually. It's the weapon that's entrusted to the Supreme Grand Masters of the Grey Knights. He is number 48. So there's been 48. And if you divide, it's like 8,000 years, but 10,000 years divided by 48 is 204, which makes sense because he becomes the Grand Master for about 200 years prior to the current setting. So he's been the Grand Master for 200 years. And this Titan sword, every one of those from Janus, who we've mentioned, is the first Grand Master. First Grey Knight becomes the first Grand Master, I think. Every one of them wields this weapon, and the weapon is supposedly forged by the Emperor in the Unification Wars on Earth. And that the Emperor gave this sword to one of his original military commanders, who then used it to reconquer Earth, which is quite interesting reading that, because normally when you read about these characters and they have this war gear and it's just a fluffy story, but it's rare that you find a relic in 40k that links back to not just like pre-imperial, but like pre-Emperor's domination on Terra. Like this goes back way, way far, and it's a Nemesis force weapon, so it uses psychic powers. So how the bearer, I think I read something like there were rumors that the Emperor had managed to teach the bearer the ability to use the weapon. But the Emperor's building these like insane weapons that are killing demon primarchs like in 15,000 years time. He's using them on Earth against other humans, because there's no demons and the unification wars. Like
No.
it seems like an extremely powerful weapon
Yeah.
to be using.
But again, it's just they've just got the best stuff again. It's like when it's like when a dad remarries and he's like, oh right, this time I'm gonna have the good family. Do you know what I mean? It's like, and then you go around your dad's house, you're like, oh shit, why's my stepbrother
Look
got
at the
like
toys?
why did my stepbrother get the new Xbox 360 and you bought me a SNES? You know what I mean?
I have just noticed as well that his banner on his model says Caldor on it. He's walking around with a banner with his own name on.
Damn straight.
Classic.
He's pimping his merch.
Yeah, yeah. During his time as the Grand Master, he fights with Makar again, the demon who he managed to kill as a normal Grey Knight. Must have been like his first big demon to kill. So they have a bit of beef with each other because of this, because of the first time he killed him. And it hits the same planet, the world of Akralem.
Rematch.
Yeah, the rematch. So the Grand Master, through the prognosters, hears that there's like a demonic insurrection happening on this planet, and he knows exactly he's going to be doing it. So he goes back. I think he goes back on his own. He's like, no, don't follow me. This is about me and this Makar character. Nobody come with me. So he goes on his own, and he just
gets pegged. He has a quick pegging session before anyone else arrives. Yeah. Don't look.
He ends up
call me by my true name.
Lift up my loincloth.
Yeah, he does lift his loincloth, and on his codpiece, his silver codpiece, is the true name of Makar. And as Makar is banished into the warp,
his real name was Calvin Klein.
He grabs Calgor, Drago, and he pulls him into the warp. And somehow Drago is then locked into the warp, and he doesn't go mad, but for like 100 years he goes around the warp fighting chaos, essentially fighting chaos in their own backyard. I've written here, he slays the great bloodthirster Kavoth, sets fire to the jungles of Nurgle. He defeats the 6 chosen demonettes of Slanesh, the 6 sisters, and destroys the fortress of the Lord of Change, Makan.
Literally just walking into like everyone's home.
Yeah.
What of it?
He's just making himself a nuisance in the warp, basically.
Yeah. Well, I listened to a thing on YouTube, and that apparently at the beginning, the 4 gods and their followers all tried to trick him. They tried to make him join them, as you'd expect. That failed pretty quickly. Then they tried to destroy him. That failed pretty quickly. Then essentially he's just doing whatever the fuck he wants, and he just goes around, like you said, like appearing, taking them out. And at some point they all kind of give up. They stop. Like they know they can't defeat him. They know that they can't turn him. And it's just one guy in the warp. Like it's not that big of a problem. So they kind of stop trying to wipe him out. Yeah, kind of an annoyance.
Is it not sort of suggested that he does kind of go a bit mad? I sort of like that he's gone a bit funny from being in the warp for so long, because he's basically just been fighting demons for like, you know, the equivalent of like 20,000 years in warp time or whatever. And I feel like that there is like, I don't know, there is this kind of rumor that he's a bit not right in the head or something. I swear
that does ring a bell, but I didn't read it this time. But he does reappear out of the warp occasionally. He comes out, and that was like the whole point of how you could use him in the game.
Yeah,
was, you know, he was a character that you could use in the game as if he'd reappeared. He fights alongside the Dark Angels, also on Aklam, trying to free it from Makar. So it's the same character comes up again and again. And after the formation of the Great Rift, because of the amount of psychic shit going on and the rift in reality, he's able to appear more frequently. So the Grey Knights know at the beginning they didn't know.
Oh, that's it. Does he not become kind of like bound to the warp?
Yeah,
that's it, isn't he?
He's kind of stuck in the warp. But the Great Rift kind of allows him to get out more, and the Grey Knights are kind of hope, or they think that because of that, he will be able to someday soon be free from the warp, because the barrier between the two realities is weaker. That's what the prognosticators believe, that they
Chaos probably don't really want him there either, by the sounds
no
of things. So
no
it's
they
just
probably
kinda-
want him
yeah.
gone, and the prognosticators also think that because he banished Mortarion, they have like a deep hatred for each other, because he's the name of the previous Grandmaster was carved on his heart. That they're kind of linked as well. That him and Mortarion have like a link through the warp, and they're trying to fight each other. Maybe that's why he burned the jungle of Nurgle.
It's pretty baller, isn't it, for like a standard? Essentially, although he's one of the better
Standard
ones, like
human.
Space Marines to take on Primarchs. There's not many
Yeah.
that have done that
No.
well. Like Dante, probably
Yeah.
like Abaddon's kind of beyond standard
Yeah.
Space Marine at this point.
Yeah,
but, like,
Yeah.
Well,
So
he's just
the-
better, isn't he?
the
He's
big
just
boss.
better.
It's just better.
So by the current setting, the Grey Knights know that he's still around, and he's actually had councils with the 7 chapter masters of the Grey Knights. So I think it's kind of weird that they haven't replaced him. So he's been like lost in the warp, reappearing
Yeah.
for 100 years.
Yeah.
But he's
But
the
there's-
supreme Grandmaster. They can't.
And he's
just
got the
replace
Titan
him.
sword. I guess they must.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
They can't get
I
it back.
suppose
What are we gonna do?
so. Yeah.
But
But
there's
it must be annoying trying to like get decisions made and stuff, and he's just
Yeah.
like, we've got to wait for the next warp storm to like send him a message or whatever.
yeah, that's true.
The 70s, the 80s,
The 90s.
Ooh, we're going back in time. Is that a space squad? It's time we take you back with a blast from the past.
Okay, so Blast from the Past, it's back, and we're looking at, well, we say Blast from the Past, but I get this is Blast from the Present, because you're going to have to buy these models to play with the new Grey Knights Codex. So get ready to get on eBay and look for some unsupported models from Games Workshop.
Oh
Definitely
no, Stoney. Don't worry, GW have made it easy for you, mate. What they've done is they've just recast them all in plastic and put them in a spanky new combat patrol. Literally models that have been around for 20 years, reboxed in plastic. When you buy the combat patrol, the standard Grey Knights are the same. They're the same guys.
Damn.
Well, they're not,
I mean,
though.
They've got one new guy, don't they, with the flaming sword.
They've got
him.
Castellan Crow, who I believe is another Grandmaster.
Yeah,
the
he's
guy
new.
with the flaming sword.
Yeah, he's new.
But the Paladins were also metal, released at the same time. The Dreadnought is just a standard Dreadnought from the same time.
These plastic models are new. They're newer than the metal ones. They're a different sculpt.
Well, what's
Are
going
they?
on?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, of course
What's
they are.
going on with
They're
the
basically the
Primaris
same.
size?
They're not.
Hang on. So we're asking a lot of questions all at once here, but like, are they going to be? Are these Primaris size? These new old models?
No. The 2003 range, which is the range when they like came out, they had like 2 figures before that from like the 80s or something. They had like 2 really old models that were like really weird. The metal range, that had the Space Marines and the Space Marine Terminators, which was, and the thing about the Terminators being so cool was that at the time you still had those chunky fixed position Space Marine Terminators that were terrible. So when the Grey Knights came out on the bigger base, there was like, whoa, and then
Yeah, they were
But you
super
couldn't glue the
dynamic.
arms on. The Paladins are the same, aren't they? As
No.
the original metal.
No,
and the
no,
Paladins
no.
been redone.
No, yeah.
So what? Hang
When?
on. Hang on.
When?
The Grey Knight. So I had a few of the metal ones because I had a Demon Hunter army when
Yeah,
that
I've got a whole
book
kilty with
came
the
out.
standard
Yeah, I know
troops,
you've
but I'm
got-
talking about
yeah.
the Paladins.
Those the Terminators and the power armored Space Marines, that range came out in 5th or 6th edition. So that's a fully plastic range. So the Grey Knight army, like the full army that I've got, is all plastic. So they're bigger. If you compare that,
So they're
compare
like
that power armored
10
Space
years
Marine,
old, 12 years old instead
Yeah.
of 20.
exactly.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. It's
Yeah,
better.
yeah. There's 2
Thanks.
ranges
It's just
there.
better.
Sorry, it's not as
just
bad.
better.
So they're just better.
They're just
It's
better.
But they're not now though, are they? Because they're not Primaris Marines. They're their scale
Yeah.
from 12 years
But I mean,
ago.
it does really show you how well these sculpts have held up, though, to be fair. That
Yeah.
is one of the things I've got to say. Is like, you know, I mean, I've been taking the piss out of them for being kind of like fancy boys, but they are fancy boys. Like these are awesome models. They really have lasted the test of time. If these aren't Primera size, then it's a fucking crime. Like, what the fuck is Games Workshop doing? Like, what they want you to rebuy the same army twice? Like, I mean, I guess is there a law reason why Grey Knights would become Primaris? But
Only
I mean,
because Cool hasn't been fiddling around with the gene seed because it's the Emperor's gene seed. So
but
they
they've
need
just
to come up
released
with a
a new
different way.
codex, you know, like they could easily like just make some fluff to be like,
Ah.
oh shit, they all grew in the warp.
Now,
or whatever.
Stony.
Do you know what I mean? Like just bring them up to like being normal size with things because they're supposed they are everything we said is they're better, and they're going to be dwarfed by your standard Marine.
Well,
Yeah.
don't worry, Stony, right? Because you're right. They have just released a new codex. And I know on the LBP, we often rue the day Games Workshop stopped telling you how to do conversions. So GW have got your back, Stony. They've,
Right.
in the codex, shown you how to make them Primaris size yourself.
No way.
Uh-huh. And there's a double page spread in the codex where it tells you how to build a whole unit of Primaris size Grey Knights. And every example uses the Castellan Crow model, which is £32 by itself. So it's like, yeah, you could just convert a 5-man Grey Knight squad by buying 5 Castellan Crows. Like, what are they doing?
This is insane. That really is insane.
That's
Like
the only-
what the fuck are they doing? Like
only
this,
thing I would
this is
say-
not what they do anymore. Sorry, Matt, but this
Yeah.
is not what they do anymore. Gone are the days of them printing like you know the fucking car made out of the deodorant can or whatever.
Yeah.
Like they're the guys that make models, and they've just released in the codex a way for you to make your own fucking models because they can't be asked to do it. Bollocks
Yeah.
to that. Well, these are the best boys. They're everything but better. What are you doing, Games Workshop?
I think that's really interesting. But I also think it's interesting because the one thing I loved about this Demon Hunter Codex, the original one in 2003, was that they show you how to make Inquisitors in there and
Yeah,
other
it's
things.
so good.
Which I think even at the time, having pages of stuff like that in a codex was a bit different. Like this book, there was something different about this book when it came out. And it's interesting that they've kind of done the same thing, albeit in a horrible 2025 way.
It's just such a kick in the teeth to be like, we're going to bring back that thing you all love, but we're
Yeah.
going to do it because we've fucked up.
Where's the fucking models Games Workshop? That's what people want from you. Like
I've always thought that they look at because sometimes I look at my Grey Knights and I think like they look so good, but they just do not look that good next to Primaris Marines, but they look so good on their own. It's almost like Games Workshop is just like we're not going to do it better than that. All we're going to do is make bigger
blow
ones.
them up. They've done plenty. Yeah, but I mean, they've done that with like the Terminators and stuff
The thing-
in the past really successfully. All
Yeah,
they've got to
they have.
like they could definitely just if they just glowed up the range and it's money on the fucking table. They
thing-
just released the goddamn codex. I don't understand.
The thing that I have seen, and I know maybe it's a bit of a cop out, but I've seen people do some recently where they're just on they're on tactical rocks. They're just on bigger,
Oh, yeah,
deeper
yeah,
bases.
yeah.
That's
and
what
they
my
do-
kill team is. Their base is
Yeah.
about an inch high, so it doesn't
They
look
do look,
stupid.
yeah.
Everyone's
they do
got a
look-
Cuban heel.
Yeah, you could
Yeah.
you could add a millimeter of millipart on the bottom of all their feet.
So there we are. A blast from the past. It's not quite as old as I thought, but still
Hang on.
pretty damn old.
Now we've got to talk about Brother Captain Stern. He was the character. He's a named character from the original book, and we're still in the 9th edition book. And did they have a new model?
No, Brother Captain Stern is not in the new Grey Knights Codex. Reports and leaks confirm that he, along with Calder Drago and servitors, have been moved to legend status for the new 10th edition rule set.
So he was a named character. He was like the arch rival of the Lord of Change, and he would constantly fight the Lord of Change, and he'd be able to banish him. But
I've
he had
never seen this model.
Really?
It's really cool. Yeah, I don't know how, because I
Yeah,
had a
this is-
Demon Hunter's army in metal.
This is it came out at the same time as the book. He was like the named character that you had with the army, and he's maybe he hasn't had a newer model. I mean, the model is amazing. It's like 22 years old, and he's got no helmet. He's got a human head, and some great artwork that came out for him at the same time. I think there's one where he's fighting the Lord of Change, and he's like a tiny little Terminator against this huge demon. And I think he has the true name of the Lord of Change, something like that. He's in the newer books. He was in the newer books when the Plastic Range came out. He's an interesting character. I've always remembered him because like I say, I kind of started to collect a Demon Hunter's army. They were good because you could mix them in with I could mix them in with my Guard or my Space Marines without buying loads, but I could never bring myself to spend £18 on a metal squad of 5 Terminators. And Brother Captain Stern was quite expensive, so I never got him. But he was like, yeah, classic model.
Let me tell you guys about Vorth Mordrak. He was one of the Grandmasters of the Grey Knights, and he's the sole survivor of attack upon a fortress world of Mortain by the renegade Space Marine chapters known as the Red Corsairs. In particular,
cool.
as you might know, the Red Corsairs are led by Harken Blackheart. The guy, he has a model as well with a kind of a big power fist and is just a kind of a general bastard. So basically, there was a renegade chapter known as the Company of the Shadow that done a ritual to try to turn Morton, the planet of Morton, into a demon world. But Mordrak shows up and is like, right, fuck this, kicks everybody's ass roundly, him and his chapter. They go and they beat the fuck out of everybody. But as soon as they finish beating the fuck out of everybody, Lord Harken Blackheart shows up, and he's just kind of there almost on the off chance because he doesn't like the guys, the Shadow, the Company of the Shadow. He doesn't like those guys. So he thought he was just come and just like randomly bomb the planet anyway because he knew they were there. So so he just bombed the planet, not even knowing that the Grey Knights were there, and it kills everybody except for Mordrak. And it's deemed kind of like a miracle that he was like able to survive. And he kind of suffers this crazy survivor's guilt where he's like constantly purging himself. And he's really worried that he's going to fall to chaos and stuff, even though he never does. And he's constantly taking like kind of a chaos test. He's doing coffee enemas. He's doing kind of like a kind of a like COVID test thing, but for chaos. And he's constantly coming back as uncorrupted. So he's kind of racked with guilt. But the mystery kind of deepens when he attends another battle upon the world of Ralindria, when the Grand Master was separated from his strike force in a teleporter malfunction. Madruk was left crippled and stranded alone upon a barren black plain swarmed by demons in an unsurvivable battle. Oblivion seemed to close in all around him. But then a miracle occurred as 2 squads of ghost Terminators showed up and gunned down all the fucking demons.
Whoa.
Yeah. And he managed to escape and get back to normal space. And then he takes his boys over to the blood plains of Belios Free. And this is where his legend is truly cemented because his entire chapter witnessed several times where groups of ghostly Marines appear alongside them in tough battles where it all seems lost and start gunning down demons. So then, with his new kind of found fame and his legend cemented, Mordrak decides that it's time to go after Lord Harren Blackheart once and for all. So he departed from Titan with a bunch of dudes to finally put this matter to rest. And he ends up fighting the Red Corsairs in a bunch, but he's a tricky bastard, Blackheart. He's always kind of one step ahead. And it gets to the point where Mordrak has a decision to make. Blackheart has slipped up, and there's a chance for him to close the gap and actually make it onto his ship and battle Blackheart once and for all. But at the same time, a demon incursion is happening on a nearby planet, and he has to make a choice. Does he save the planet, or does he go after Baron Blackheart? And what do you think he does? What do you think this guy does?
He's got to go after the demons. That's his one job.
He goes after the demons. He puts aside his own desire for revenge, shoots off to fight the demons. He sounds like a pretty cool dude, basically. But he's got this kind of like team of a squad of ghosts that look after him. And whenever it all looks lost and he's about to die, squad of ghosts comes and saves the fuck out of him. So yeah,
That's badass, isn't it? Like that his what is it? What do we reckon it is? Like his psychic powers kept them alive, like the souls are bonded to him so he can fight
So
and bring them back.
is he a current Grandmaster?
Yeah, he's quite big in
Right.
the lore. So there's a couple of like recent lore things. The big one we'll get to at the very end, but there's two smaller ones I don't know if you guys have seen. One of them is well, this is all in the new codex, but one is that the dead have all been stolen. So in the codex it says that one night all of the dead Grey Knights were stolen from their tombs. The tombs are empty and no one knows who's got them or where they are.
okay.
Oh,
So I
no,
wonder,
Oh
don't say
shit!
like,
Just be cold, like fucking making Primaris. I hope at least.
yeah, well, is it Cole making Primaris? Is it some
Or is it a way to
spooky
delete
warp
the old
thing?
range? Are they just like, this is why we ain't supporting Grey Knights anymore?
Have they been reanimated with some extra juice so that they can grow into full size Primaris Grey Knights? Like, who knows? Is Dragor pulling them in from the warp? Like, there doesn't seem to have been an incursion. There's no evidence of demons. The bodies have literally just disappeared. Like, is it a Jesus rebirth thing?
Oh.
So I think that is. There's plenty of space there for a range refresh in
Yeah.
11th edition.
Well, they've got a
40K.
bit of a kind of a Lost and the Damned thing going on with
Yeah.
these like
With this
ghost
ghost
warriors
thing.
stuff. This
Yeah.
like, yeah.
I
Was
think
it-
all of that allows space for them to do Drago's back as a
Wasn't there
massive
one-
centerpiece model, and here's the new.
Wasn't
Ghost
there a rumor
Knights.
that they could have been that they were linked with the Lost and Damned whenever we spoke about that? Isn't that one
Legion of the
theory?
Damned.
Could
Yeah,
be,
maybe.
yeah.
I was thinking that when I was reading about Mordrak, but they're not described in the same way at all. They're like
They
ghostly
probably
apparitions.
the amount of times that they come for normal Marines, they come twice as many times for these guys because they're better.
That would be a perfect way to introduce a range that was better than the existing one, where in the next codex, instead of just building bigger Grey Knights, you build Primaris sized warpified sort of
Yeah.
in half reality these a Grey Knight army, so you can still use your old Grey Knights and you can say these are like the Grey Knights that are alive, and then these are the spectral Grey Knights, the things that are like sort of half real and half not real, and yeah, they're a bit bigger because they're magic, and
They could
maybe
put the
they could-
tagline on the box, even better
Yeah.
than just better.
yeah, yeah,
Be
that'd
like
be
an
great.
M&S style advert, but
Yeah.
for Grey Knights. Like,
I reckon that would be, in terms of lore, and maybe even in terms of models, that would make way more sense than bringing in a range of the Lost and the what they call, not the Lost and the Damned, what they
Legion of
called
the Damned.
Legion of the
Legion
Damned.
of Damned, that's
Yeah.
it, yeah.
Like you could have, yeah, that'd be amazing to
Yeah.
have, and that would be that's my army in the warp thing.
So
That's
there's
the-
spooky. That's spooky. But then also they've laced another thing into the codex that might allow them the opportunity for range refresh, and that's, we said earlier that the Grey Knights get all of their recruits as psychers from the black ships. Well, there's a bit in the new codex that says because they're fighting so many demons, because it's all kicking off, they're secretly raiding other Space Marine chapters and like stealing Space Marines and converting them to Grey Knights. So that's another way to get Primaris sized Grey
Yeah,
Knights.
yeah.
Are they going after Primaris librarians, putting them through all of the tests, and then giving them Grey Knight armor?
Yeah. Oh man, the more we talk about it, the more I'd just love to see a new Grey Knights range.
Oh,
if they did the whole thing like proper, it would just be like just better. I just feel like it would just be better than like a normal Space Marine range. I'd just love to see it.
Well, Stoney, maybe just better is the actual answer to all the people losing their minds on Reddit over the big bit of lore. And the big bit of
Yeah.
lore in the new codex is
Have you heard
that
this?
No,
Stoney?
I haven't heard any of this.
right.
No.
the Terminus Decree, the secret last wishes plan of the Emperor that the Grey Knights have been sitting on all of these years has finally been revealed, Stoney.
Oh my god, it's going to be awesome. I can tell. What is it?
Yeah, so we've been through this a few times, the theories on this, when we did like the Emperor episode, and we had all different ideas of what it is, because there's
Yeah.
always been the lore that it's been the thing that the Grey Knights hold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for some reason, Games Workshop have decided that they would quantify what it is instead of leaving it nice and open.
Yeah. The classic Games Workshop move.
Yeah, I think an understudy who hasn't really understood the task here
Yeah.
and has written that the Terminus Decree isn't some super secret Basilio faux virus to kill all transhumans. It isn't self-destruct terror.
It's going to be something even better. What is it?
If the Emperor tries to get off his throne, the Grey Knights must stop him.
What? Hang on. What was that? If he tries to get off the throne? But isn't he like a... What? He's a skeleton. What? Well, that's the super secret.
The implication is the only way I'm getting off the throne is if I'm possessed by a demon, so you better damn well stop me.
Oh, okay.
But what they haven't thought through is how 1,000 Grey Knights, even though they are just better, are going to get through 10,000 Custodes,
but is it
all of the Black Templars, every defense, all of the Solar Auxilia to get to the Emperor. How the?
But like, if that's
happen?
their special thing, why aren't they guarding the Emperor? Why are they? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, we've got the Emperor's. I saw the Emperor's toe move the other day. Right, everybody, gear up. We're going. Calgor, we've got to save you from the warp and bring you back to like stop people getting off the throne.
They're on the other side of the solar system. They
It's mad. How are they going to get? It makes no sense in theory. It's just stupid. It makes no sense like for the lore development of Games Workshop because it's one of the mysteries that everyone's really happy being a mystery.
Yeah.
Like what happened to the other legions.
Yeah.
And it makes no sense practically because how are they going to get there?
Yeah, they're not custodes. They're not like. It would make sense if they told the custodes that, like, because that's their job. It's the wrong trade. It's all wrong. It's all on its head.
It makes no sense. Hopefully, we get some kind of further explanation or retcon for that. But
maybe like trying to make sense of it. Like maybe with the prognosticars, that they would be able to and. Their close proximity to Terra compared to other Space Marine chapters that are dotted around the galaxy. Maybe they do have enough time to read the tea leaves and register that there's going to be this incursion on the Golden Throne.
Like one of the things that I thought about reading about the Grey Knights stuff is it really raises questions. You know, we're always like, when we're doing like Primarch stuff, we're like, maybe the Emperor knows a bit more than he's letting on or whatever. I feel like when I was doing the research for the Grey Knight thing, I was like, the Emperor doesn't know fuck all because they're basically like his just-in-case army. They're kind of like, oh shit, what if I'm wrong about everything? I'm going to need these guys to kind of step in. And even, got to stop me getting up off the throne if I turn into a Mega Demon, the throne which I somehow know I'm going to be on.
I totally agree, Welsh, with what you said about like, it's almost as if a junior person or someone that's just come in has been like writing it. That was my first. I didn't really look into it, but I saw everyone getting kind of worked up about it on the internet. And my initial thought, without even knowing what they'd written, was like someone who is kind of new to the lore or just sort of new.
Someone's just read that there's this mystery and then they've gone, they've mentioned it to someone. Do you mind if I just put a paragraph about that? And they've said, yeah, go ahead. And then they've just not checked it. Because that's how these things, that's how the codices are made now. It's rushed out, it's shit art, it's copied stuff, there's no page work. When I played 3rd edition on the weekend, my mate bought that Demon Hunters Codex round. And every single illustration in that
the art is amazing.
Absolute beauty and talent and time and thought.
Yeah.
And I think that's what was just better.
Yeah.
And I think what we're seeing with slip-ups like this and slip-ups with the range release is that thing that made the Grey Knights so good when they came out.
Oh shit!
Is
Look at that.
He
bought it round everybody. That's podcasting right there.
And so large, Blast podcast listener. That was it. The boys high-fived at another podcast in the bank, totally forgetting to do Lords of Lore, or record a outro, or anything useful like that. And until next time, keep that dial tuned to the LBPP, and if chaos comes a-knocking, best tell 'em to keep jogging. This has been Kaldor Drago of the Grey Knights, signing off from deep in the warp.